Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. I'm feeling fizzy today because I've got 6 Proseccos. Prosecco, is it the Pinot Grigio of the sparkling wine world? I would suggest it is, because there's an ocean of stuff that's not all that interesting, and there's some other stuff which is actually remarkably good. Have I got some of the former? I certainly have a suspicion I've got some of the latter, because I've got 3 from a producer called Nino Franco, who's one of the names in Prosecco. Bisol, got 2 from them. I think they're the certainly the biggest quality-minded one. And then I've got an own label one to start with. It used to be Radcliffe's used to be Thresher's and Weinreck's own label, but since Thresher and Weinreck are no longer with us, I think what they do is they source the same wines and they sell them online. So not sure who makes this. Does it say? Spumantizado dalla Marca. So there you go. Let's give it a whirl. Looks rather pale. It smells gentle, slightly sherbety. It's that sherbet, a bit of lemon, a bit of very, very ripe apple. You know when you go to those restaurants and they do apple foam? It's got something of that character about it. Simple, tasty, honest. It's a £7 bottle of wine. Can't complain about it at that price. It's not going to set the world on fire. It's perhaps more in that Pinot Grigio, cheap Pinot Grigio style, but certainly very happy to sit outside in the garden and quaff rather a lot of that. Let's see if we can up the ante, as it were. Il ante, as they say in Italy. No, they don't. With Nino Franco, and this is his Rustico. So this is, I think, their basic entry-level wine. Not sure how many different wines they do, maybe 5 or 6, and I've got 3 of them here. Anyway, so Rustico. A lot of these will not have a vintage on the back, but they'll be current vintage, really. The one of them actually says 2010. There may be a 2009 in. We're in June 2011 here, so there won't be any 2011s, and I don't think there'll be any 2008s, but mostly 2010s, I imagine. Okay, first thing I notice here, it feels like it's a much drier, more minerally character coming through when you smell it. Doesn't smell like it's quite as candid dolly mixture like as the first one. Smells like it's going to have a bit more, drier but richer. Let's give it a whirl. And immediately you're getting something that's a lot more ambitious. It's got a slight stony, pumice stone character, and it's got a bit of nuttiness, fresh apples and fresh green apples, maybe a touch of honey in there too. But the finish that you're left with, there's this lovely, ever so slightly rasping acidity that keeps your mouth fresh, keeps your mouth entertained, keeps you coming back for another drink, so I will do. And none of that slightly bimbo frothiness that you got in the first one. Nice wine, that. Okie doke. Next one, it's the Bisol, they're Crede, Valdobbiadini. I think these are all Valdobbiadini. Yeah. So this feels like a softer, rounder, fleshier style than the Rustico. It feels like, there's a slightly more severe character coming through in the Rustico. This feels like it's a bit more relaxed, a bit more laid back, maybe a bit more easy drinking. Does that make it an inferior wine? I don't know, I haven't tasted it yet. And you're back with that creamy, ever so slightly honeyed nuttiness that I was getting in the first one. It is a more serious wine than that. There is some of that pumice-like minerality coming through here, but it's not got that straight backbone that the Rustico had. Nice contrast. This is a richer style, which I think will find probably find exactly as many fans as the Rustico. For those who like their wines on that slightly weightier, more showy side, they'll go for that one. I prefer the Rustico, but then I like I like wines with a bit of sternness and spine. Let's see whether Nino Franco's next one has got sternness and spine. This is, we've got 2 single vineyard ones. This one's called Grave di Stecca. And Grave, there's gravel in the soil. So let's see whether you can taste any gravelolity. I've just invented that word in this wine. Really subtle wine here. What I smell is I smell things like blossom, a bit of candied peel. If there is, it's not as obviously appley as maybe some of the others, but there's a touch of that peachiness that I get in some Prosecco, and but again, it feels like it's going to be on that dry, serious side. Serious, but seriously good. It smells like it's going to be really good. Yeah, you notice that minerality coming through here. It's what I call life beyond fruit. Yes, there's the fruit there, that peach, that apple, but then you get this, almost, I don't know if there's any volcanic soil here, but there's a slightly, a volcanic, ever so slightly nice sulphury edge coming through, this edge of pumice stone as well. I can't remember the last time I had saw a pumice stone. I used to remember, on the side of the bath at home, there used to be one that was shaped a little bit like a mouse that, I don't know what my mum did with it, but hard skin on the heels or something like that. You know, women always have lots of products for exfoliation and things like that. Weird, it's one of those wines that, I don't know if you see, I'm tasting sparkling wine out of a glass like this rather than a regular flute. Sparkling wines can be serious wines, and they deserve a chance to breathe. And what I'm finding here is the more I swirl it, the more there are things coming out here, more elements. It feels like I've seen people decant champagne in the past, and this is almost a candidate for something like that, because there's more that I feel needs to come out of here. So don't be afraid of decanting it. Don't be afraid of serving it in proper wine glasses rather than flutes, and don't ignore those. If you've got any of those Babycham-like saucers, chuck them out, or sell them to Cash in the Attic or something like that. Very serious gear, that. I like that. Let's see whether Bissol's... actually, it doesn't say Bissol on, but Desiderio Geo, but it is from the Bissol stable. It's got some of that stern dryness that I've been finding in the Franco wines. Still feel like it's going to be a fuller, richer style, and maybe, again on that slightly more showy style, not as fine-boned as the Francos. Fascinating coming after the previous two, because it's got elements of both. It's got the stern backbone of the two Franco ones, maybe not quite as stern and upright, but more of that minerally backbone. But it's got the flesh that I found in the Crede. It's almost like there's a house style. The Nino Francos are thin and elegant. The Bissol style is a bit more exuberant and maybe a bit simpler, but. Yes, I mean, wines for different occasions, and not quite as good as the Francos, but still pretty good, and certainly not falling into that bimbo Pinot Grigio style. Let's see how we get on with the final one. Another single vineyard one from Nino Franco, Vigneto della Riva di San Floriano. Wasn't sure whether I should have done this one or the other one last, but I'm doing it this way around, so hey. I think maybe I should have done them the other way around, but because this feels like a broader wine than the Grave di Stecca. If there's more fruit, there's more exuberance, there's more of that peachy, peach, pineapple, very ripe red apple character coming through here. Touch of that minerality, maybe not even as much as the Rustico, but. Again, compared with fascinating compared with the one before, the Geo. They're both on the hello, here I am. I'm quite large. What do you think of me? What I think of them is the Geo is maybe that little bit more voluptuous. This is a little bit more aristocratic, and smells like it's going to be good. Weird aspirin-like minerality. Aspirin, pumice, green apple. It's strange that peachiness that you could smell doesn't come through quite as strongly when you taste it. It is there, but and again, a fascinating contrast across these three Nino Franco wines. The Rustico, I almost like as much as that. I think it's a drier, it's not quite as a fleshier style as that, and I quite like that stern, severe edge. The Grave di Stecca stands out well above them for me, and topped by a long way, but I thought the Bissol showed well. First one was okay, but the Nino Franco ones, Bonza, Ripper, and certainly not bimbo Pinot Grigio wines. See you soon.